to let's pay our obeisances to Radha Govinda. And this is Namanishta Prabhuji has designed this course. And because of him, we are all here and doing this Bhagavad Gita 18 days. So let's see the meaning of Bhagavad Gita to begin with. So Bhagavat means Bhagavan, and Gita is song, Geet, song. So it's song by Bhagavan. So there are many dialogues, right, between personalities in this Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita. Who are the people who have been speaking in Bhagavad Gita? Can anyone unmute and tell me? Or you can chat also if you don't want to unmute yourself. You can chat.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's Krishna and Arjuna.
Okay.
And on the other side, it is also Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra who wants to know what's happening in the battlefield.
Yes, very nice. So it's Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra also spoke one first beginning one, right? And then Krishna, Arjuna, of course. Yes, very nice. What is the use of reading it? Any idea? What's the point? Why are we sitting, all of us sitting here now, gathered over here and reading Bhagavad Gita? What's the use? What's the point?
Mataji, this is like a user manual for leading our life in a proper manner with our fellow human beings and the nature.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much. Yes, you're right. It answers all our problems, you know, whatever problems we have in our life, it answers all our problems. We are completely ignorant as such. So that's why we need to read Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from whatever nations or ignorance we have here. It's a spiritual dictionary. Anything that we want to understand, Bhagavad Gita has the answer to it. And it's a book of inspiration. It inspires us to work hard. Every man is in difficulty. It's many ways we are in difficulty. As Arjuna also was in difficulty, having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. But when Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna, Bhagavad Gita happened, and it was spoken by none other than Lord Krishna. Right? But not only Arjuna, every one of us, we are full of anxiety. We have different problems because of this material existence. But Bhagavad Gita is one book which has solution. It's not about what religion you belong to, what class you belong to. It doesn't matter at all. It has a solution for the root cause of all our problems. But there is one condition. We have to continuously read it and understand it. That also, if you sit alone and read it, you will not get it. It has to be in the association of devotees so that, you know, you understand completely and make your life successful. Spiritually or otherwise. Yes, there are other devotees who have answered the question. It teaches us the way of life, Sumita Mataji, very nice. It teaches us correct way of life. It's a way to lead our life on the correct way. Sai Gita Mataji, De Chakka, I hope I spelled it, pronounced it correctly, De Chakka Mataji. Then to know more about Krishna and knowing entire humankind, Hima Mataji. Jhuma Mataji, it's Krishna and entire humankind. Yes, yes, very nice. Thank you so much for your answers. Let's see. As Mataji had earlier mentioned, yes, it is our life manual. Very true. It is our life book. Like whenever we are buying any equipment, any electronic item, whatever we buy, what do we do? What first, we don't know how to use it. So what do we do? Anyone, any idea? If you buy something, some electronic item, and we don't know how to use it, what do we do?
We check the user manual.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much. Yes, we read the manuals, try to check, okay, step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. Bhagavad Gita is exactly like that. It has been divided so beautifully into different chapters. By the end of the 18th chapter, like we won't feel like leaving each other. We'll want to read again and again and again. It's that. So whenever we are buying air conditioner, a game or a vehicle or a bike, we just need to understand how to use it. So Bhagavad Gita is our life manual. So every journey begins with a single step. Let's begin the journey into the mysticism of Gita. So this is welcome to Bhagavad Gita 18 days. First chapter, Arjun Vishada Yoga, and Arjun's yoga of lamentation. And here he is observing the armies on the battlefield, and the whole scene is set from shloka 1 to 11. The setting of the scene is there. Then Krishna is there, 12 to 20. Lord, he loves his devotees from shloka 21 to 27. And then there are so many miseries of life, 28 to 46, we come to understand. So the mood of Bhagavad Gita. So Arjun is completely bewildered, right? And this whole thing has been done. This is all Krishna's arrangement. And if Arjuna would not have been confused, what would have happened? There was nothing, there was no reason for Krishna to speak Bhagavad Gita and to rescue him. So he is apparently the first listener here, but Lord informs him later in chapter 4 or so that he first spoke to sun god, and sun god explained it to Manu, and Manu explained it to Ishwaku, and so on. It went on in disciplic succession, one speaker after the other. The yoga system has been coming down. But in course of time, it had become lost. So then Lord had to speak it all over again, this time to Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. And he's telling Arjuna that this supreme secret, the reason why he chose Arjuna is because he is a great devotee and very good friend of Lord Krishna. And Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is the first receiver over here in this new parampara, because the succession was broken. So he wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding Bhagavad Gita. So he instructed Arjuna specially because he was a devotee, yes, but it is best understood by a person who has got qualities of similar to Arjuna. What are those qualities that Arjuna had? Anyone? Qualities what Arjuna had. He was simply humble, humility. So that humility is very, very necessary. When we sit down to read Bhagavad Gita, the attitude that we need to have, we need to be completely surrendered mode. That is how you have to be from now. So the devotee, because we are going to directly listen to what Lord Krishna is telling. And as soon as we surrender to him, we understand very clearly. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Otherwise, it's not easy to understand what Lord is saying. We have to be in a surrendered mode. So Arjun's this indecisiveness was because he went he asked Krishna to move the chariot in midst of both the armies. Arjuna had a lot of difficulty in fighting, right? Because he was completely confused on seeing his relatives and his guru and his grandfather. So he surrendered to Lord Krishna, and then Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes. He was an associate of Lord Krishna. So he was above all ignorance, actually, in reality. But he was put into ignorance in the battle of Kurukshetra so that he could question Lord Krishna about the problems of life. So Lord would tell him for our benefit, for the benefit of future generations of human beings, so that we can, chalk out the plan of life. Then we can perform accordingly. We can do our karma accordingly. We can do our activities accordingly. So he requested Lord Krishna to draw the chariot in the midst of two armies. So the purpose was to see, actually, before the warrior starts to fight, he wants to see the power of the other side. So he wanted to see who all are there, to fight. So just to learn who all were there. As a pure devotee of the Lord, he had no desire to fight. They were his cousins, his brothers, his guru, his grandfather, but he was forced to come to the battlefield just because of the stubbornness of Duryodhana, who never agreed for any kind of peaceful negotiation. So that is why he was very anxious. Arjuna was anxious to see who is leading the army, who are the main warriors who are standing in front. There was, there was no question of peacemaking, and they were on the battlefield, right? Once you come on the battlefield, the only thing that you have to see is fight. That's it. You can't do anything much. Everything was done already. So he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon. They wanted to, this unwanted war. So he wanted to see that. So this Bhagavad Gita has 5 themes. Mainly it will be moving around these 5 things. One is Ishvara. Then second is Jiva, that is living entities. Ishvara means God. Sorry. Prakriti, that is material nature. Kala, that is time. And Karma, which is the daily activities. We'll keep coming, forward, coming into these words, and we'll try to understand later as we keep hearing these words. So the division of 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna spoke 574, Arjuna 84, Sanjaya 41, and Dhritarashtra 1. So Dhritarashtra, he got only one spoke. The dialogue that he spoke was only one shloka overall. Now we see different reactions. If in this chapter, if it has to be explained in one liner, if you want one liner for this chapter, you can see different expressions, feelings, and reactions of the character. This whole chapter in one liner, you can say this is all about different expressions, reactions, and feelings of the characters. So Dhritarashtra, who was he? He was a king. You can see topmost left side, right? He could have stopped the war, but he was completely filled with tamasic mode of nature. He had a lot of attachment, but his brother Vidura, he had only affection. There is a difference between attachment and affection, right? Affection. So in attachment, you can't take right decisions. Affection, you tend to give right advice. So in attachment, person becomes very blind, mad. He loses his sense of discretion. So Duryodhana in the right side corner, his mindset. What was his mindset? He was completely full of arrogance, in the mode of rajas, tamas. He was bragging about his army. He was doubting his own loyal ones. So we have to understand, what is the takeaway from this? Too much of, self-glorification. Apni khud ki prashansa kar lena. That is a symptom of insecurity. And then, of course, in the middle, the third one is our hero of Bhagavad Gita, our Arjun. And all three have shown their reaction on the battlefield in chapter 1. So let's see the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata sanjaya. Any volunteers who would like to read the translation can raise their hand, and one by one I can ask them to read. Please raise your hand. Yes, Surekha Mataji, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. I can't hear you, Surekha Mataji. Okay, for now I will read. Rest, please raise your hands so that you can get a chance. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Now, this is the question which Dhritarashtra is asking. Dharma Kshetre. Dharma Kshetre is what? What is Dharma Kshetre? Anybody? Yes?
Holy
Dharma
place,
Kshetra.
Mataji.
Yeah. It's a religious, it's a place where religious rituals are performed. It's very significant because on Battle of Kurukshetra, what happened? Lord Krishna was present on the side of Arjuna. And Dhritarashtra, who was Kaurav's father, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. And who was Sanjaya? Anybody? Who was Sanjaya? Sanjaya was?
Dhritarashtra's charioteer.
Yeah, correct. By whose mercy did Sanjaya get the divine eyes?
Vedavyasa.
Yeah, very nice. So thank you, Mataji. Sanjaya, he was a student of Vedvyasa, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyasadeva, he was able to envision the battle of Kurukshetra while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. Like when we wear 3D glasses and we go to we watch 3D movies. So Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation of the battlefield. And who could hear Bhagavad Gita apart from Arjuna? So Sanjaya was, definitely he was able to hear. So if you see, Bhagavad Gita started with Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Have you ever wondered why it started off with a blind person and not a devotee or supreme personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna? You know, it's a thing to wonder about. It is because we are all blind, not physical blindness. I mean, not physically we are blind, but blinded by greed, by ego, by want, by anger. So this Bhagavad Gita has started. It's for all of us actually. So that is the reason. So let's see. Dharma Kshetre. Now here, what is the name of the battlefield where Pandavas and Kauravas fighting the war was called? What was the name called? What is it called?
Kurukshetra.
Kurukshetra. So the word Dharma Kshetra here, it's the place where religious rituals are significant, right? Because on Battle of Kurukshetra only, Lord Krishna was present and he was giving this Bhagavad Gita Gyan to Arjuna. Now in first picture, you can see left hand side, milk is boiling. Why do we boil milk? On what occasions do we boil milk? There is some holy occasions we boil milk.
During Graha Pravesha, we
Yeah, correct, Mataji. When we have Grih Pravesh, housewarming ceremonies, then we usually boil the milk, right? It is pious. That is why this milk has been compared to Dharma Kshetra. And the middle one, you can see the cottage cheese, paneer. Paneer has been, when you have, please mute yourselves whenever it is not required. And whenever you have to answer, you can always unmute yourself. I have not muted anybody. Sumita Mataji, you can unmute yourself. Thank you. So then middle one is cottage cheese or paneer. It is separated from whey. When once milk is curdled, means what? You squeeze the lemon in it. You boil milk, squeeze the lemon. The cottage cheese or paneer is separated from the whey. That water is called whey. And what does this mean? Here it means that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, it is an analogy we are giving, that Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, what did they do? They split the family in the first place, right? So what was the basic intention? Mamaka Pandava. Mamaka means my kids. Pandava means Pandu's kids. So he's already separated the family. So now you can decide who is cheese and who is whey, right? Then comes Rasgulla. So now he's asking, Kim Kurvata Sanjaya? What are they doing? If some sweet is given to you, what will you do? Can anybody answer? If a sweet is given to you, what will you do?
eat it.
Eat it, right? So they are fighting, they are in the war, they are on the battlefield. What else does any soldier do in a war? It's so simple. Now why Dhritarashtra is Kim Kurvata Sanjaya is asking. He was very confident, that, well, how many kids did he have? How many children?
101.
Yeah. So he had, how many did the Pandavas have? How many were they, Pandavas?
5.
5.
of them.
5. So this,
5.
he thought I have 100 sons and 5 Pandavas. So he said, okay, we will definitely win. What is there in this? But at the same time, he was worried, oh my God, they're standing on that Dharma Kshetra, that Kurukshetra. Oh my God, so many devatas have done tapasya over there. What will happen? Maybe Duryodhan will change his mind and he will give back the kingdom to Yudhishthira. And then he will say, okay, you know what, you are elder, Yudhishthira, take it. He was having that worry also inside. So that kind of feeling he was having while looking at the field. So Dhritarashtra, how is he looking at the field? What all feelings is he having? Any idea? Is he confident?
He's
He's
very
anxious.
future.
Yeah. What else?
He was confused.
Yeah, confused. Very good. What else?
He's confident that his side will win, but at the same time, he's confused and scared whether it can be opposite also.
Excellent, Mataji. Scared. He is worried. He is anxious. He
He
is
was frightened too.
True, correct. So fearful, he is doubtful, he's not having that peace of mind, He never chastised his son Dhritarashtra knew what is right, what is wrong, but he was feeding wrong thoughts, right? Srila Prabhupada used to tell, fast your mind, which means when mind wants something undesirable, then just let that mind fast till it becomes straight. Seedha hone tak, let the mind fast, Srila Prabhupada used to tell. So you can see how he is looking. His mindset, he was completely doubtful because Kurukshetra was a very sacred place. So he said, oh my God. So Dharma is the law of that land. So Dharma may win. Then he was very fearful. He was asking, right, what did they do? He was confident, of course, that both his sons and sons of younger brother Pandu, they were assembled on Kurukshetra. They are going to have a war. He did not want any compromise over there between the Duryodhana and Arjuna and all. And he wanted to be sure as to what will be the fate of my sons on the battlefield, right? He was very fearful. He was very partial. He was very partial to his sons, right? That was not right. And the takeaway here is, you have to take care of dharma and dharma will protect you. We have to be on the side of dharma all the time, but he wasn't. He knew he was being unfair, right? Due to his unnecessary attachment to his son. Why was the battle arranged? It was fought on Kurukshetra. It is mentioned somewhere in Vedas also that Kurukshetra is a place of worship. Many devatas from heaven, they had done a lot of tapasya over there. So Dhritarashtra was very fearful that, that holy place, what kind of outcome will it happen and what influence will the holy place be on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that, the Arjuna and his brothers, this Dharma Kshetra will definitely favor them because by nature they were very dharmic. So he was having the takeaway here is every shloka has a takeaway for us. Too much of attachment, it causes anxiety. So don't have too much of attachment. Then he was partial, mentally, Mamaka, Pandava. So both Pandavas and Kauravas, they belong to the same family. But Dhritarashtra's mindset, you can see here. He claimed that only his sons were as Kurus. And he already separated his brothers, saying Pandavas. So he's separating them, right? So we can understand the kind of position he is having with his nephews and sons of Pandu, right? So as I told you earlier, also self-glorification, it means you're praising yourself too much, you are insecure. So we must always glorify not ourselves, but glorify Krishna. Because in real life, by doubting what happens, we lose people. And maybe we sometimes hurt them also. So we have to understand that also. So Dhritarashtra was fearful, doubtful about the war of Mahabharata because Krishna was present on Pandu's side. Kurukshetra is the dharmic place. So naturally he will be scared. Anybody who can tell me what is the difference between attachment and affection?
Attachment is owing something. Affection is the love you feel towards a person.
Okay. Anybody else would like to add something to it? You're very right. Very, very correct.
Attachment can be destructive because we blindly, because of our attachment, we tend to take decisions wrongly.
Yeah.
Whereas affection is like we always think of the good for that person.
Yes. Correct. Very nicely put. Attachment was Dhritarashtra's personality. He was too much attached to his son, especially Duryodhana. Attachment always is a sign of insecurity or weakness, Vidura, his brother, he was on the other side, he was following dharma. He was very virtuous. He had a lot of good qualities. He had affection for his elder brother Dhritarashtra and Pandu, both of them. So we need to be affectionate and not attached. So if at all you want to be attached, who should you get attached to? Anybody?
Shri Krishna.
Krishna. Excellent. Let's get attached to Krishna, right? Right now we are all like Dhritarashtra. Hare Krishna. So, Duryodhana's mindset, he's bragging about his army, he's showing off, and he's doubting his own loyal ones, like his own grandfather, his own guru. We are like Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra means attachment, too much attachment to Duryodhana. Duryodhana is mind. So like we are comparing Dhritarashtra to attachment and Duryodhana to our mind. So that is what, we are getting too much attached to our mind. Somebody says something or corrects at some time, mind cannot just take it. We just get very bewildered and very restless that way. So the relationship between dissatisfaction and adharma. Mind, it is self-satisfied, actually, and detached, provided we follow rules and regulations. Other way around, if we don't follow, mind is always dissatisfied. Very difficult to live like that, So many times you must have faced it also. We feel very disheartened all the time. So it's very important for us, to learn from Bhagavad Gita that we must remove that seed of dissatisfaction. And what to do for that? Don't do adharma. Don't do anything wrong. Otherwise, your conscience will keep pricking you, right? Like how Dhritarashtra did. He wanted the kingdom for his son. He was too much attached to the throne. He didn't want to get down from the throne. Although, Krishna, already God has given him a chaste wife who blinded herself for him. And who can dream of doing that nowadays? Tell me. Who will blind themselves for after getting married? And he had a great sage, Vyasa Muni as a father, Bhishma as great-grandfather. He wasn't satisfied. He wanted more, more, more. We always find a reason, to be dissatisfied. And that disturbs our mind. So just because you are dissatisfied does not mean that we do wrong thing, right? But that's what we do. So he kept on encouraging his sons also to do adharma, to do bad. And he was not only physically blind that way, he chose to remain mentally blind as well, right? He never reprimanded, never chastised, never said anything to his kids. You're doing wrong. He was ready to go into the war also, right? And usually, what does a small war or a fighting need? If you have to raise a fight, what does it need? Very small reason and a big fat ego, right? For example, I may ask here Juma Mataji, I will say, what is the time? She will say, it is about 4. Then somebody else will start fighting. No, it's not 4, it is 3:30. Small issue, right? It's a small issue, but it's a small reason. But because of ego, that whole thing can become very big. It can blow out of proportion. That is what it can lead to. So that's how we have to keep thinking. Had he rightfully handed throne to Yudhishthira, what would have been the result? Anybody would like to put in? If he would have given the throne to Yudhishthira, what would be the result?
No war.
No war. Very good. Yes.
Yudhishthira gave
There
importance
would
to
have been a
dharma.
peaceful environment.
Very good. Very nice. Anyone else wants to add? So no war. Very nicely said. No war. Then
No
no
bloodshed.
deaths, fires, peaceful rain. Everybody would be happy. But
Dharma would be restored.
Correct. Very nice. Dharma would have been restored. Dhritarashtra was so much attached to his son and the throne also. So that was causing a lot of havoc, right? He was blind. He was blind. He wanted, actually, throne belonged to Pandu Maharaj. And after Pandu Maharaj, rightfully to Yudhishthira because he was the oldest. Yet Dhritarashtra wanted, short circuit. He wanted to take shortcut and give it to Duryodhana. So after Mahabharata war, when Yudhishthira was to become the king, he was to be crowned, right? So he became very emotional. He said, oh, I have committed a lot of sin, killed so many people in the battle. And, after so much of counseling by Lord Krishna, by counseling by Bhishma, then he took over the reign, and he, of course, he ruled brilliantly. He was a very noble king. He took care of Dhritarashtra as well. Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum Vyudham Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Anybody would like to volunteer to read the translation? Please raise your hands. Yes, please. Chuma Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. You have to unmute yourself.
O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada.
Hare Krishna. So second and third sloka, what Duryodhana did was very wrong. What did he do? What is he doing? Look at the picture. He is looking at his guru. The way he is looking, he went and insulted his guru. What was the name of his guru? What was the name of the guru?
Dronacharya.
Yeah. So in the spirit, Dronacharya, in the spiritual and battlefield, you have to take blessings of the guru, not go and insult him. Right? As you know, if you have to go for the first day of your job, or you're going for your exam or whatever interview, what do? You usually take blessings, right? Blessings of the God, blessings of elders in the family. And here on the other side, what did Arjuna do? He aimed an arrow, he aimed at an arrow towards his guru's feet to say pranam to the guru and to seek his blessings, his ashirwad. And what did Guru Dronacharya do? He also sent an arrow, towards Arjuna's head, as if he is giving him blessing. Such a nice, Shishya disciple. That's how Shishya disciple should behave, and not how you see in the picture, how Duryodhana is doing. Look at his face. What do you see in that? Anger, fear, pride. So, what was the name of Dronacharya's son? Anybody knows?
Ashwatthama?
Ashwatthama, yes. And here, Drishtadyumna, he was leading Pandava's army. And whose son was Drishtadyumna? Anybody knows?
Drupad.
Drupad. Anybody knows the story of Drupad and Dronacharya? They were very good friends initially. Yes, anybody knows?
Drona asked for a cow and he insulted him, Drupada.
Correct. So, yes, they had a fight because Dronacharya was not a rich Brahmana. Drupad was a king. So he went, I'm just telling in 2 lines. Later on, I can give you in detail. And Dronacharya once went because his child did not have milk to drink. So he went to his friend. He said, wait, I'll go and ask my friend. He said, I won't. So Drupad said, you can have, I can just give you donate you. The way he spoke was in a very, arrogant way, like a king he wanted to give. He didn't want to treat him like his friend. And Dronacharya said, no, then I don't need it. And he was so much insulted that he took a vow that he'll make sure that he defeats Drupad. And then he later on it happens, and he taught him a lesson, and he sent Arjuna to do that. All that happened. Here, coming back to Duryodhana, he thought Pandavas will come with 10-15 people. So Bhishma and Drona will kill them, war will be over. But now, once he saw the huge army, he was really scared now. On one side, Dhritarashtra, he was blind not only in the eyes, but mind also, too full of tamas guna. And here he was Duryodhana, full of rajoguna, tamas guna, having a lot of vice, kama vasana, lust, krodh, moh, lobh, mad, matsarya, right? So if we listen to the first chapter, it will appear that each and every verse is trying to teach us something, because we also have that similar thought process and behavior patterns like Duryodhana. So let's see the 6 types of aggressors who should be killed immediately. The poison giver. So Duryodhana fed Bhima the poisoned cake. An arsonist. Duryodhana arranged for a house of lac to be built for Pandavas and conspired to have it set ablaze while they slept, right? Then one who attacks with deadly weapons, they were attacked also. Thief. Shakuni cheated in the dice game. Who occupies another land? Kauravas were not ready to give Pandavas any piece of land. One who kidnaps another's wife. They stole Draupadi by foul means, once during the dice game, and once Jayadratha also tried to kidnap her. So we have to see these 6 types of aggressors. It's written in Shastras that they can be killed right away. So Kauravas were already aggressors. So let's see the blowing of conch shells. So here, who will read this? The blowing of these different. Can you all please raise your hands? That's the system we usually do. All of you raise your hands, and one by one you can read. Yes, Hema Mataji, Hare Krishna.
The blowing
different conch shells become uproarious and thus vibrating both in the sky on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
Hare Krishna. Before the war, all blow their conch shells. That's the rule, because that shows that war is going to begin. And Pandavas, they were completely confident. What were their conch shells' name? It is written very clearly in the shlokas over here. Panchajanya. Panchajanya Rishike. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmoma Shankam Bhimakarma Vrukodara. Panchajanyam Rishikesha. Krishna's conch shell's name was Panchajanya. Then Devadattam Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is Lord this Arjuna. His conch shell's name was Devadattam. Poundram Dadmo Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vrukodara. Vrukodara is also Bhim only. And his conch shell was Poundram. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira was Ananta Vijaya. Nakula Sahadevascha Sughosha Manipushpako. Nakul, Sughosha and Sahadev Manipushpako. They were all holding these. They were... and the very next sloka, actually it mentions about various kings and Maharathis who were blowing their respective, other kings were also blowing. So when Kauravas blew the conch shells, their army was almost double, double the size of Pandavas. When they blew the conch shells, please mute yourselves when not required. Hare Krishna. Nothing much happened. But when Pandavas blew, it shook every Kauravas very, very bad. Haath pair kampne lage unke, Look at how Sanjay is describing this, he is giving this, he has been given this divine drishti, and he is telling so nicely, so minutely. Like, sometimes we have this TV program goes on, they are telecasting Republic Day or something. How they, they tell, the host is telling, but that host also on Republic Day may not be able to tell so minutely. Here, Lord Sanjay is telling, Hridayani Vedarayat. Hridayani Vedarayat means, the whole heart, it shook them very badly, In today's world, you may believe in yourself, like Kauravas, they had their legs shook. But a devotee is very strong because he is completely surrendered to God. So that is what the takeaway is for us, So thereafter, of course, the conch, Nagada, Dhol, Shringi, all were sounding simultaneously because war had to happen, right? Please mute yourself, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's see. We all know that Pandavas won the war, right? So what are the signs? What are the signs of Pandavas' victory? Anybody can tell me? One or two? You can chat, you can tell. You can either
guidance
chat.
of Shri Krishna.
Yes,
Krishna
very
was
good.
on Arjuna's side.
They were on the side of Dharma.
Yes. Yes.
The Kapidwaja Mataji.
Yes, very
and
good.
The chariot given by
Yes.
Agni Deva.
Yes, very good. Very good. Yes.
Flag.
And the battlefield itself was a very holy.
Yes, very good. Yeah, correct. Yes, very nice. So,
And also the Lakshmi Mataji.
yes,
Whenever
very good, very good.
Lakshmi is
Wherever
always there.
Krishna is there, Goddess of Fortune has
Yeah.
to be there. Wherever is Narayana, Lord Goddess Lakshmi will be there. Very good. Very nice. So we'll see. Dharma Kshetre, as you all very nicely put it, you already told. So, Dharma Kshetre, it will only benefit because of Dharma, right? So only like going to temples, only Bhakt will enjoy it, right? Not Abhaktas. Then divine
Hanuman and the
chariot.
flag of Arjuna.
Very good, very nice. Yes. So Divya Ratha, who gave the chariot to Arjuna? Agni Dev. So that's like just now you said flag. Yes, Kapidwaja. So his flag was marked with Hanuman. Hanuman's blessing was there with Arjuna. Lord Hanuman served Lord Rama and helped him win the war, right? So Kapidwaja means what? Kapi means Hanuman. Dwaja means flag. The presence of Hanuman on Arjuna's chariot. Then emblem was there, right? Hanuman's emblem. So that's a sign of victory. We can see that. Then what else did we have here? Gandiva, Shankhanada, the conch shells. The conch shells were blowing so loudly, it blew the Kauravas away, blew their minds away completely. They shook, their legs shook. Then we had Gandiva. Gandiva was a special bow given by God Varuna, right? Then this Gandiva was made by the bones of sage Dadhichi. Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati, they gave darshan to Lord Arjuna and they blessed him with Pashupatra Astra also, right? So this was also there. Pashupatra Astra, it was used on Jayadratha later. Then Tyakta Jivita. Tyakta Jivita here means, like Duryodhan said, right? All my soldiers, all my Maharathis are ready to sacrifice their life for me. They will die for me. The moment you say they will die for me itself means that the other side is going to, you are saying there are so many heroes, they are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. It's already concluded, right? That all of them will die in the battle of, because you are saying they will die for me. Then the day was a very good day. Mokshada Ekadashi. Today is also Mohini Ekadashi. So Mokshada Ekadashi. So Gita was told to Arjuna on this very auspicious day, right? And Bhagya Lakshmi, as you all rightly put, wherever Narayan is, Lakshmi has to be there. Certainly she will be there. So again, another positive point towards victory. And of course, Rishikesha means Krishna. So naturally victory will be there. Who can touch Arjuna when with Krishna protecting him and is in his favor, right? So goddess of fortune, blowing of conch shells, or Krishna being with Arjuna, all these are signs of victory. So Kauravas are already on the verge of loss. Now next was like, but still Arjuna was very sad. He was feeling very, very sad. He did not want to fight the war for 5 reasons. What were the 5 reasons? Compassion, he says. So many people will be killed, Krishna. What are we doing? I don't know. Lot of compassion he had, Karuna. No enjoyment. What will I do? Even if I win also, what will I do? They all are dead. Then what am I going to enjoy? Sin. It's sin to kill so many people, Krishna. And then he says, family tradition, Krishna. What will happen? All the men will die here in the battlefield. All the fathers are dying here. Who will protect the elders at home? Who will protect the women? The children. Children will become orphan. Women will be unprotected. If elders are not there in the family, then who will guide the younger generation? And in the absence of proper guidance, everything will be destroyed. The whole dynasty will be destroyed, Krishna. There will be chaos, Krishna. Big disaster, Krishna. What do? I don't think we should fight. When women are young, fathers protect. When they and then when they get married, husbands protect, and brothers, so on. If all these men are dying over here, then there will be kulanashanam. And then he was completely indecisive. He said, I just don't know. I don't know. I think why to be a part of this unnecessary violence, Krishna? If Duryodhan is so stubborn, Krishna, or adamant, let him be. Let him become the king, Krishna. Let him be the king. I can live by begging. And he knew that Duryodhana was cruel also. He had committed so many sins. So he says, we too face, when we go on the stage, sometimes we have competition on the stage and we have to go and speak somewhere. We get, completely scared also, and then there was a indecision also. Fight or not to fight. So commenting on this was Srila Prabhupada writes, all these considerations, if you see by Arjuna, it proves, he was not only a great devotee, but he was very enlightened soul, very enlightened soul. He had complete mind over his mind and senses. But of course, he was put into illusion for Bhagavad Gita. So you can see what all was happening. Anybody would like to read all the 10 points quickly?
The
Yes,
limbs of his body quivering, his mouth drying up, his whole body is trembling, his hair is standing on end, his bow Gandiva is slipping from his hand, his skin is burning. He was unable to stand there any longer. He was forgetting himself. His mind was reeling. He sees only causes of misfortune.
You can see all these symptoms. It is not because he is scared. It's not because he is nervous. It's because he is a great devotee. He is very compassionate. He is always, thinking about others. He's not thinking. That is why once he saw his guru, he saw his grandfather, he saw his cousins, uncles. Oh my God. That's when he started trembling. These are all because of his soft-heartedness and compassionate nature. So what did he say? Let's see. Who will read, please? Next. Hare Krishna. Yes, Sureka Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up."
Hare Krishna.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
any man who has a genuine devotion towards the Lord, they have good qualities, right? They are godly. Whereas non-devotee, they may be very advanced. They may be PhD also. They have a lot of education, a lot of culture, but they will lack in godly qualities. Arjuna, on seeing his friends, his kinsmen, his relatives on the battlefield, became overwhelmed. He was completely, because he was overwhelmed with compassion for them. And why am I fighting with my family? What is going to happen? As far as soldiers are concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning. He had a soldier, he was compassionate for the soldiers on the opposite side party also. He could see that they will all die. And while he was thinking, his limbs were, shaking, mouth drying up. So he was thinking, oh my God, there will be so much of bloodshed. He was overcome because he was a great devotee. Yes, please. Anybody would like to read the translation, please? Just unmute yourself. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. Hema Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness.
Yeah, Lord Srila Prabhupada says Arjuna was reluctant to kill his own enemies, let alone his relatives. He thinks, by killing him, the relative, what kind of happiness will I get? Therefore, he was not willing to fight. Right? Just as a person who is not hungry is not inclined to cook. So he's not decided, I'll go to the forest, Krishna. Okay, I'm just frustrated. I just want to live a secluded life. But you know what? He's a Kshatriya. He's a soldier. He requires a kingdom for he's not a Brahmana. He's not a sannyasa. So he needs kingdom for his sustenance, right? Subsistence. And because he's a Kshatriya, he cannot engage himself in any other occupation. He's a soldier by his occupation. He has no kingdom right now. So he has got this opportunity to gain a kingdom. He can only gain this kingdom if he fights with his cousins, brothers, and reclaim the kingdom which he inherited from his father. He did not want to do. So he says, I think I'm fit to go to the forest and I will live a life of, I just don't want to have this kind of life here. That's what he says. Yes, please. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to read? Yes, Sheila Mataji, Hare Krishna. Please unmute yourself.
Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinmen?
Yeah. See, we learned
Hare
about
Krishna.
6 kinds of Hare Krishna. We learned about 6 kinds of aggressors, poison givers, ones who set fire to the house, then who attacks with weapon, who plunders, who steals, who occupies others' land, who kidnaps a wife. So they are in Shastras, it is written you can kill them. But Arjuna, he's not an ordinary person, right? He's a saintly by character. So he wanted to deal with them in a very saintliness type, But anyway, that's kind of saintliness. However, it's not for Kshatriya. So Arjuna thought, he should not take such kind of drastic action, against these aggressors. But he was very saintly that way. He considered that instead of killing all of them for political reasons, let me just forgive them on the grounds of religion or whatever saintly behavior. And then he says, it's not, I don't think there is I'm going to gain anything by killing all of them. It's just a matter of temporary bodily happiness, all this kingdom, pleasures, everything. It's not permanent. So why should he risk his life and eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? That's what he was thinking that time. Yes, please. Who will read? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Pradipta Hare Krishna. Pradipta Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes evolved in irreligion.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport that he says in system of Varnashrama, many principles of religious traditions, it helps the members in the family to grow properly. A lot of values we give to our children, right? Proper spiritual values we give. The elders are only responsible for the purifying process in the family, from beginning from birth to death. So, but on the death of elderly members, what will happen? Such family traditions of purification, who will tell these are the festivals, these are the values, this is what you have to learn? Who will tell all the traditions? And everything will stop. Purification process will stop. Remaining family members, younger members, they will develop bad habits, irreligious habits. They will lose their chance for their spiritual salvation. You can see that happening in Kali Yuga now. So therefore, no purpose should the elderly members of the family be slain. You should not be killing them. That's what Arjuna is arguing. He is putting up his point. Yes, please. Who would like to read? Hare Krishna. Yes, Sumita Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. The son of Dhritarashtra, whom if we killed, we would not care to live, or not now standing before us on this battlefield.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight or risk unnecessary violence. Although, fighting is his duty, right? Who can tell fighting why fighting is his duty? Why?
Because he is a Kshatriya.
Yes, correct. So he was thinking if he should refrain from fighting and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his means of subsistence. That's what he's thinking. Nor was he was thinking there is no certainty of victory also. Anybody can win. So even if victory awaited them or if he was going to win, he still felt that if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battle, it would be very difficult, to live in their absence. They will all die. All these considerations by Arjuna, it definitely proved, that he was not only a great devotee of the Lord, but very having a lot of sense control, a lot of enlightenment was there. His desire to live by begging, even though he was born in a royal household, you can see another sign of detachment we can see in that, right? So this is what we can see Arjuna's arguments put forth. Which one can you relate to out of 5 points that Arjuna put up? Compassion, no enjoyment, sin, family traditions, and indecision. If you were in Arjuna's place, which one would you relate to more?
Compassion.
Family tradition.
Compassion.
Compassion, okay. Why? No?
He's thinking of relatives about the enemies. He doesn't
Okay.
want to kill.
Being a devotee, being a very kind person, very saintly person. Okay, nice to know that. Hare Krishna. Okay, family traditions, Hema Mataji says, okay. Why? Same reason as Arjuna's? Okay, so with this, we come. Yes, please, Hema Mataji, yes, please.
Yeah, because they're the cousins, so that's the main reason.
Yeah, correct. So with this, we come to, thank you, Mataji. Chapter 1, setting the scene, we saw Dhritarashtra's mindset. He was doubtful, fearful, partial. Duryodhana's mindset, he was bragging about his army, doubting loyal ones. Then we came to see all auspicious Krishna, the signs of Pandava's victory. We saw Dharmakshetra, transcendental conscience, Gandiva, Tyakta Jivita, Mokshada Ekadashi, Krishna, his Rishikesha, he was there. Hanuman on Arjuna's flag, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, Agni Deva's Dev's chariot given to Arjuna. Lord loves his devotee. He is always our well-wisher and he serves his devotees. That is why he was ready to become his charioteer also. The miseries of life, there were so many symptoms of stress. There are types of miseries and Arjuna says, no, I don't think that it is suitable I think it's better I don't fight. He's completely confused. So Dhritarashtra's inquiry, Kim Akurvata, Duryodhana's fear, blowing of conches, Arjuna's observation. Arjuna then has many reasons to tell that I will not be able to fight. He says, Yadi mama pratikaram ashastram shastra panayaha dharta rashtra rane hanyu tanme kshemataram bhavet. He said, better for me, if the sons of Dhritarashtra with their own weapons, they come and they kill me. I will remain unarmed, I will not resist in the battlefield. That's what he says. So in the custom, according to Kshatriya, you have to fight. You cannot, if you are unarmed and unwilling, the enemies will not attack you. But Arjuna, he's decided, he said, even if they attack also me, even in that awkward position also, I am not going to fight. I'll remain unarmed so that they can kill me. All these symptoms show he's such soft-hearted, so nice, so good, such a great devotee of the Lord. So on observing all the army, he stood up. He stood up on his chariot. He was so sad. He was completely afflicted. He was lamenting. He sat down. He set aside his Gandiva bow and, his arrows. And such a kind and soft-hearted person in devotional service of the Lord, he said, Krishna, I cannot fight, please. So that is why he's fit to receive that kind of knowledge. That's why Lord Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will answer all Arjuna's queries in the second chapter. So one who takes shelter of Lord Krishna, he has nothing to fear. Even in the midst of great calamity, you are facing a lot of calamity in your life. But if you put Krishna in the center, you will see the kind of the confidence that you will get somehow from inner strength you will get. So with this, we come to the end. Vancha kalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhubhyacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.